should be ready, man. Come on, this is the AOTB. Anyways, dude, did you see Star Wars?
I have. I just recently seen it.
Okay, you just saw Star Wars, all right? Because we're about to talk about it. We're about to talk about Kylo Ren and everything. And you seen what people been doing? People been dressing up like Kylo Ren with the high waist pants.
Yo.
And taking pictures like.
Yeah. No, let me see if I could pull it up right quick, dude. I mean, man.
Kylo Ren high waist pants, man.
Man,
that's a new trend. I didn't know that. You know, I've found that in a lot of films that you watch, the villains are so much more fashion savvy than the heroes.
Yeah,
they just dress better. Like all the Disney movie that you've seen, all the evil queens had fashion sense.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then the hero is like wearing rags and shit. Like what the Look at Captain Hook versus Peter Pan. Captain Hook had swag. You feel me?
Yeah.
He had the pants, he had the hat, he had the feather. He was swagging. And Peter Pan had some fucking rags, some green rags. What the fuck was that?
I mean, see,
can't fuck with it, man.
All the heroes, because I just watched one of my favorite childhood animated movies, which is Robin Hood, the one with the fox.
Oh yeah.
And the king is like the king, so he's dapper. You know what I'm saying? He's got rings on, he's got his crown on, he's got his little
fashionable, man. I fucks with it.
Your boy Robin Hood is wearing a hat with a hole in it, and
but you know what? I understand Robin Hood because Robin Hood is at a point where it's like he can't have all that swag on him because they ain't gonna make it. He can't have all that swag on him because it's gonna make it hard for him to do the shit he gotta do. So he gotta be practical with the gear he's wearing. You feel me? I fucks with it.
I mean, unless that's his disguise, you know what I'm saying? But his regular attire is just some hood dude. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold up. Who are we talking about now?
No, we were talking about how in Disney movies and like a lot of movies that we watch, like cartoons, and the bad guy has a way better outfit than the good guys.
Well, so do pimps whenever they're out on the street. Pimps are always the fly.
And the pimps are definitely the bad guys in this equation.
Just saying. I mean, they got to make their money. They're always fly.
Definitely the bad guys in that equation. I don't care how you look at it. All right, Star Wars.
Hold on, you got to do the entrance.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to Attack of the Blerd. Just another episode. I know we haven't been consistent, but it's 2018, new year, new awesomeness. We're going to start a little, we're going to talk about Star Wars, even though we should have talked about it in December, but it's all good. Holidays, you get it. But Star Wars, The Last Jedi, it's finally here. Let's kick it off. Who do y'all think the Last Jedi is, right?
It's very obvious who The Last Jedi is.
Oh, okay. Who you got?
It's the little kid.
What little kid?
The little kid at the very end of the movie.
Oh, the one that was with the, what the heck is those?
The like broom?
Yes.
He had the Force.
Yeah. He was straight chilling. He was like, you all want me to clean up? All right, I'm going to clean up. He grabbed the broom with the Force.
Yeah.
He already has the ring. They gave him the ring way early on.
I don't think he's the Last Jedi, son.
Well, hold on. I think maybe the Last Jedi Master is going to be Rey. And she may come back and teach him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, if she gets with Rose and, you know, because she already made her point about blowing up the city.
Right.
With all that tyranny. Sounds like a job for Rey right there. Like, we got to take out some bad guys. Hell yeah, I'm with you. Let's go boom, 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 and rescue all the animals because the Millennium Falcon really is kind of like Noah's Ark. You know, I mean.
I got to say.
Go ahead. Touch on the Ark for a little bit? How about those, I want to say it's called Poregs, the little furry penguin, doughy-eyed little things.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be annoying, but then, like, seeing them interact with Chewie was funny. That was the funniest shit to me. Mm-hmm. So I actually like them. I think that I'm going to go real deep on y'all for a second, if you don't mind for a second. I think the Last Jedi is a misnomer. They fucked with us. All right, there isn't a Last Jedi. I think
technically,
the generation is gonna start all over again.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I think so. I think they were fucking with us, the Last Jedi, but there isn't gonna be a Last Jedi. Is I guess when you listen to the speech that Luke Skywalker's making in the end is like, I'm not the Last Jedi. You know, there isn't going to be a Last Jedi. She's learning. Somebody else is gonna learn. It's gonna continue on.
Hold on. To the contrary. When Luke was going to burn up the tree and all the scrolls, he was making it so that no one would be able to learn all this stuff anymore.
Right.
So, he kind of went back on his word, and that's in kind of like a very Luke Skywalker form. I mean, I know that this movie is getting a lot of hate, but honestly, if you watch, the original 3, prequels, or not the prequels, but you watch the original 3, Luke always had that inner conflict of, what should I do? Am I capable? Oh, I'm going back on my word. He was kind of that, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm powerful thing. And I need other like documentation to validate my experience. So, I know a lot of people were hating on the character play, but honestly, I thought this movie hit it out the park in so many different ways. So
yeah, I agree with you, because that's the reason why Yoda showed up in the first place, and Yoda said the same thing to him. It's like he told him, young Skywalker, still undecisive or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, I remember you when you was young, and even now that you're a master, you still learning. You still a student, son. I got to teach you some things. So I thought that was really cool. You're right. You're right about his character. But one of the greatest moments, of course, is the face-off between Kylo Ren and Luke.
Yeah.
It was so brilliant. Did you know it was a projection? I didn't know. Did you?
No clue.
I didn't know, but thinking about it, it could happen. It really could happen.
Thinking back on it, you're like, yeah, I should have known. But like when I first watched it, I was like, holy shit, it was a projection. That's a callback. That's a fucking callback.
Yeah. The crazy part for me is the fact that like when he appeared, it was like, oh snap, this is dope. This is dope. He walks out there, and I looked up and I'm like, yo, shoot him. Kylo, shoot him. And he did. He just all guns on him. That's the only thing that I can foresee. Like I could see everything except for the fact that it wasn't really him there. That's the only thing I couldn't see. Because I seen through the fact that Kylo was going to attack how he'd attack. I was like, go all out, bump it. That's Luke Skywalker. Why would you not?
And let's talk about Kylo for a second. I love that guy. Like, I love that guy. Kylo, I feel his rage, Like, if you notice, the way Kylo fights, everybody has a way of holding their saber in a different way. He holds his saber facing you, like this. Like, you are going to die. Like, that's how it's just so vivid, and he has so much emotion, I love that guy, man.
I was watching a video clip talking about him as an actor, Adam. He's from actually a small town in Indiana, and apparently he grew up kind of rough. So I think that for that particular role, he probably was channeling some of his youth to be the dynamic asshole version of,
yeah.
But
I can see that.
And then still too, with him wanting to dissolve all of the Force anyway, so that people could kind of just live the way that they do, makes sense. I mean, think about it. If you grew up kind of rough, or even in the movie, with Luke trying to kill him, even though he had that couple seconds of remorse and was about to stop it, the damage has already been done. How do you explain, I've got this super freaking lightsaber here, I can slice you with if I sneeze, but no, I'm just playing?
Yeah.
It's very intense, man. I like the intensity of this guy. I do. Yeah. When Ash, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, it's just that for me, I think he became more relevant in this movie. Kylo, because in the first one he was just a whiny little bitch.
Right.
That, and have we not noticed that like they come up hard? Period. Like everybody comes up in a hard situation. Like the little kid, he's in a hard situation. He's basically just a worker. And every Jedi, and even the Sith, they come up in these really hard situations. So for Kylo to feel the way he does, I do piggyback. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, why are we living like this? Why are we living these two forces going against each other when we can actually live in a cohesive world that makes more sense? And he makes sense because they come from a really messed up background.
But I think that everyone starts that way, which is what I like about Kylo, is that everyone starts that way. Everyone starts like, I can do this. I can make the world a better place. Do you see what I'm saying? Right. And then the steps that you take to make the world a better place are actually where you may go left or right, you know? And that's why, first let's talk about another great moment, which is the moment where they face Snoke, and, you know, Snoke is telling him to kill Rey.
Snoke was bullshit.
Wait, guys. Go ahead, talk.
I'm sorry, but to be the biggest, baddest Sith, you know, out there with all these friggin' rumors and stuff, and you are the master Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Dictate to somebody else, dude, and his ass stabs you in the side. Like, seriously? Yeah. Come on, man. You could have killed her. Or you could have at least got up.
Yeah, but he wanted the Skywalker bloodline in Kylo Ren to rise to Darth Vader levels. Yeah. So he was like, yes, kill her, yes.
But how come Snoke didn't have his own personal force field to deflect bullshit from him? And I mean, seriously, that's what I think.
He was distracted. That's what I think. And, he was distracted. Look, he was focused on Kylo killing her. He's like, yes. And he was sensing him doing something, right? And he assumed that he was doing, the intentions that Kylo were having was towards Rey, when actually it was towards him.
But if he could tap into his mind, he would have already known, oh, no, this dude's going to friggin' okie doke me.
Right.
Because I mean, think about it. Their rage is what powers their ability. So if he would have felt all that rage and anger, and he was getting full of that rage and anger dictating, he could have had his own personal force field. I'm sorry.
I agree. But, you know, we always want to believe what we want instead of what's actually happening. Yeah, you know? So I think that was one of those circumstances where he's like, I want him to kill her. And he believed that was what was happening. And if he was actually like more chill like Vader, because he was excited in that moment, you know? Vader is always chill. Vader would have been like, wait a minute, you know? But this guy was all excited. The same way Senator Palpatine or Darth Sidious did not see the change in Vader at the last minute when Vader picked him up and threw him in the freaking hole. You know, he got too excited.
Vader was still the best Sith that we've ever had.
Indeed. I don't think anybody's gonna be Vader.
I mean, go for Anakin. Love you. Also, I loved how they kept mentioning Ben Solo, because that was my only problem with the Force Awakens.
Solo, yeah.
I was like, dude, call him Ben at least one good time. This is bullshit. This is pissing me off. Like, nope. But they satisfied that in this movie.
I think we forget two things. One, let's not forget the greatest thing that Jedis can do, which is the Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
So even on the dark side of things for Kylo, he has that ability. It's like, yo, I'm gonna do what you want me to do. There's that. There's also the fact that I think the humanizing of Kylo by calling him Ben multiple times throughout the movie was dope, because it was like, yeah, let's not forget, this dude was just like any Jedi or any Sith. He wasn't just all of a sudden he just popped up. He was born and then he's with them. No, he had a family. His family were Jedis and people who were with the good side doing everything right. So let's not forget that. And then I think that fed further into his confrontation with Rey after he killed him. And it was like, that's when they actually had the actual meeting of everything came together, because it was like, oh, okay. He is Ben, and Ben is this character who's now portraying everything that he's felt for all these years. You know, the lostness, the anger, the frustration, everything's being pulled out in this moment. And he has a person to reach out to who is Rey on his level. And it all makes sense in that moment. It's like,
it does. Man, with that conversation right after they killed, first of all, that badass fight scene after they kill Snoke.
Yeah.
Those Force Rangers or whatever you want to call them. I think they're called like Knights.
Yeah.
I think they're called like, I think they're Knights. I forgot what, you play them in the game. You play The Apprentice, the game of The Apprentice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I played the game and they're in that game, and then you can't use the Force against them. like because they're not Jedis, but they've been trained in the ways of the Force. So you can't use a Jedi mind trick on them. Like if you use the Force, they'll block it. You gotta fight them for real, and they're badasses in the game. But anyways,
you saw that in their armor too, because like dude with the friggin' light whip, I want one of those for Christmas next year. Just saying, y'all go ahead, send it to Attack the Blerds. I will test that sucker out. Like their armor stopped all that, because even when he had his arm up to it, you could see it sparking. But then whenever he flipped it around, he or she, because you don't know if it's a man or a woman, flipped that sucker around. Oh my God, that was epic. That was absolutely amazing.
I think I gotta go back and look at it, but I think some of them were women, because I was looking at the breastplate that they had, and I think they had two different. Maybe I'm making
I think that's true.
But I gotta go back and look at that part, perhaps. But anyways, like that was a badass fight scene. It was a different style from the prequels. The prequels were more like ballet. You know, they were like, and you know, and that's what people are usually used to. But this was more vicious. It felt more like an actual like fight, where it's like I'm going to kill you type of thing. It's more intense. So great fight scene, and that's when you have that discussion between Rey and Kylo, where he's like, "You're nothing. You're nothing." You know, he's like, "But you're something to me. You know, join me." And that's why I don't believe what he said about her parents, because I think he was like manipulating her. You know, he was like, your parents are nothing. You know, they sold you for beer money. Is that true? Are we really going to believe the credibility of Kylo Ren in this circumstance?
Again, let's go back to earlier state the point, dude. Don't forget, all of them come from really messed up background. Like literally, there's a kid right now who is cleaning up that. I forget the animal's name. Cleaning up the animal. He's basically working in stables.
He's a child slave. Let's just call it what it is. He's a child slave.
Yeah. So that's his life right now. So for Kylo to tell her that, I was like, I thought too, he might be messing with her. But then I was like, you know what? There's some truth in that.
There might be some truth in that. I agree. Now that you put the kid in perspective, because, that could be definitely what it is. But I guess what they're saying is, you don't have to have great parents to be great, right? No. Right? You can just be a kid.
But even true, when you start planting the seed of doubt and fear and giving the worst explanation to somebody to humbleize them, you can hold them literally in the palm of your hand.
That's what I think he was doing.
You know, I mean, like whether or not it's true or not, he knew what to say to her. He's been manipulating people this whole time to present his like, even if you go into their mind meld, which is very Star Trek way of saying it, but like they're going into the mind. You can tell from the very get-go, he's like, I can't see you, and then he starts projecting himself even more. Even in the last one before their fight scene, he shows up with his shirt off. Okay, he's already distracting her with every single thing.
Well, I don't think that was on purpose.
I think it was on purpose. Look, hold on. Okay, now let man-woman thing. Let's think.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a girl that you trying to push up on. Okay,
was he trying to push up on her?
Maybe a little dense, but she's got what you need. Okay, y'all can join forces and do something, or if you're just trying to get in the panties, whatever you're trying to do. What are you?
You really think that's what he's trying to do?
You gonna talk to her?
Look, it wasn't
on an emotional level.
Hold on. I had to say, you remember they weren't in control of whenever they were joined. Snook was doing that. So you think Snook was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it together to the point she can see him without a shirt on, so she can be a little uncomfortable, a little flustered? I don't think so. I think it was a random thing, and she got flustered because homeboy had high waistbands and specs.
I don't believe that, because think about it. Look, Luke and Leia, every time they thought about each other, deep thought, they connected. So I think Snoke did it one time. Okay,
but Luke and Leia were twins, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I mean, friggin', it's okay. Let's think about this. Like, Luke did it with Obi-Wan. Okay, all the other Jedi did it with each other. Friggin' Vader did it with Palpatine. So no, I think maybe one time one time, but that was about it. As soon as Ben figured out, oh, well, I can tap into this broad stuff. It's just like posting somebody's Facebook page all the time.
Okay.
Let's go out. Oh, now we touching. Oh, shirts off. What you like? What you see?
Boom. High waist pants, no shirt on. What's up, girl?
Just saying.
What's your pants on? Let's do this.
I mean, he already saw her dripping wet, anyways, with her clothes on.
No pun intended.
But I'm serious, like he already saw her dripping wet with his clothes on. That's when he like tapped his head and was like, "Oh, there's water." And then the next time I meet, oh, I'm fresh out the shower, baby. What you got?
Okay, all right. That's funny, but you know that's the first time I think we got anything. Well, that's the first time I can think of that we got anything close to like a sex scene in a freaking Star Wars movie. Besides in the prequels when it was like. I think when it was Anakin and Padme, did they even like? I know they kissed, but did they even like do anything? I think that's it, right? They didn't
I don't think anything beyond that, like kissing and hold them or something. That's
kept it PG, man. You know, the old man Lucas knew what he was doing. It's like I'm doing this for the kids. I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna get this money. It's gonna be rated PG, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's up.
You know, Disney likes to do weird stuff.
This new dude was like, "We gonna throw in a little pepper in there, a little spice between the light and the dark," and it worked out because I see some people doing like fan fiction of like drawing, what's it called, Kylo and Rey like looking at each other and like blushing and like kissing. And I'm like, okay, well, fan fiction that shit away then.
They ship it.
We should
ship it. Stamped and done.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, and we haven't even talked about anybody else like Poe Dameron or my boy John Boyega, Finn.
I feel like
when Finn was trying to escape, and then Rose saw him, and she was like, "You're Finn," and he's like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You're a hero." And he's like, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he's like, "May the force be with you."
Right. But hold on, let's talk about how funny this movie was.
Oh, that shit was, yeah, it has some very funny moments. I mean, that was one of my favorites. Go ahead.
Even Finn, when he first woke up and he started hitting his head all over everything and then leaking coolant everywhere, you know?
Just walking around like, oh, what's happening? What is life? That was good. BB-8 had some funny moments.
BB-8 is still the man, or the robot.
He's the robot man. He still has some very funny moments. But yeah. I have to say, the story for this was very good. I was very impressed on the story of the main crisis of them having to basically run away from the Death Star, not the Death Star, the Star Destroyer, and being able to escape, you know, and being the last chance for the First Order to actually snuff out the rebellion, but them being able to escape. The overall story was really dope. However, the story about Finn and Rose going away to try to get this codebreaker to help him, I felt was one of the down points. It wasn't as important. It wasn't as like awesome as the main story. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I think on that note, I think that is sort of a way to feed Finn out. That's how I feel. Like because literally you start the movie off Finn wakes up and the first person he speaks of is Rey. The next time you see Rey, she's speaking of Finn. They're speaking of each other a lot in the movie, and then he has like this side quest that takes most of the movie, and then they get back together at the end of the movie, and all they do is hug. And
what did you want them to do?
Kiss. Like, dude, they've been talking about each other the whole movie.
I don't think their relationship is romantic.
Before that, that the Asian girl kisses him, Rose kisses him, and now all of a sudden, like, he's just offset emotionally toward her, and it's like, hang on, wait, dude, you've been talking about Ray like this whole movie, dog, and you all have like a relationship that's been going on, not a relationship that's emotional like that, but you all have known each other since before then. It's a lot been going on, and now all of a sudden she kisses you, and she's just like the chick now. Like,
hold on, Santana, what you gotta say?
But Ray was emotionally messed up too. I mean, you got to think about how relationships work. You know, if you don't have anything superficial, if think about it, your best friend goes off and does something, you don't talk to them for about 3 months or whatever, then all of a sudden there's this random new friend that comes in. You don't know if they're serious or not. You don't know. You're giving them that much attention. And then you just come off of maybe a bad breakup or some shit happened in your life, or somebody's pressing upon you, and then you meet back up with your best friend that you like, and it's just like, what do we do here? You got to give it time.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they haven't defined the relationship between them. Mm-hmm. And it's just that they really care for each other. You know, like from the first movie to now, they found each other and they really developed a strong bond. I don't know if it's sexual or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's going to end up being like that in the future. But I think it's more deep concern for each other. Because since he woke up, he hasn't seen her. Since she left, she hasn't seen him awake. Like, you know, so it was a big thing to be like, you're here. So the first thing is not necessarily like, oh, I want to give you some of this dick. No, it's like, you know, like, I see you and I see you. Like, I want to hold you. You're here. You're alive. You didn't die. You know, it's the first thing. And then I'm going to give you some of this dick. But, like, first, I want to keep you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's what they portrayed in that moment. So I was fine with that. You know what I'm saying?
What if it's like, I'm glad you're okay, let's go get something to eat.
Right. Okay, right. It could be just go get something to eat too. You know?
Yeah, go.
So that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is they didn't define the relationship, and I'm good with that. All right? I'm good with them not defining it, you know, because every relationship in a movie doesn't have to be like, you know, romantic. And I feel like they play that shit over too many times. Sometimes you go watch the movie and you're like, why did they even have a kissing sex scene here? Like, we didn't need that shit. Like, the story was fine. Y'all could have just kept going. But they just want to throw that in there because, like, yeah, sex sells. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
But that's what Disney does.
I'm just saying that shit need to be genuine. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though. You just said it. You wanted to be genuine. These are, again, two people who have, like, literally saved each other's lives. So I'm not saying that it needs to be sexual. I am saying that I'm not going to go on a venture with some chick for, like, a couple of hours. She kissed me and it'd be like, boom, okay, yeah, this is what's up. Nah,
I do agree that kiss, that Rose kissing him, yeah, she could have just passed out. She didn't have to, like, kiss him and passed out, but she felt like, I might die. I got to shoot my shot. You know what I'm saying? So I respect her. She's a G for that.
She's a fangirl. Okay, look.
She shot a shot. She's a G. No. Look, if it was me and what's it called? It was me and Valkyrie, I would have shot my shot. But you know, I'd be like,
I can respect it. And that's it.
I would have shot my shot.
I can respect that because as men, we have to do that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go for what we get. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, here's my moment. Yeah. Here's my moment. Yeah. I gotta do it. So
it goes in, 3-pointer. It doesn't, it's okay. Just keep dribbling.
Yeah, you know. I shot it. Hey, it bounced off the backboard, just came back. Oh well,
it's cool. Airball, catch the rebound, just keep going.
Yeah, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like, I respect Rose, man. She shot her shot. She was like, I might die. I kind of like you. I'm gonna throw this kiss out there before I pass out. Done. So I respect it. You know, I respect it. But overall, where do you place this movie in all the Star Wars movies?
Ooh.
Like, from the best, like, where do you put it? Like, I put this at, like, I think it's probably number 3 or 4 out of all the Star Wars movies I've seen. I would give it maybe number 4. Because this was pretty good. Like, I really liked it.
I'd probably put it, like, for me, I love episode 3. I know that because that's where you really see Anakin turn.
Right.
Even though, because, like, the 4, 5, and 6 are in a whole league of their own. Like, those are the classics. Those are untouchable. Those are just great. But, like, from the prequels to the ones we have now, I'd probably say that this one is right after episode 3 for me, just because you get to see, like, grandfather and grandson and their process of them turning and the struggles that they went and all that emotion. So it matches up, you know, to me. It's great. Like, honestly, I think that's right for me.
Yeah, I might have. Well, it's between 2 and 3. This gave us a turn of something because from that movie, episode 3, we got to see an internal struggle with the actual beings who are a part of something grander. And in this one, you got to see that same thing in a sense, but you got to see 2 different sides of it. You got to see the dark side and the light side, like face and emotional turmoil. And then in the middle of that, to conflict and come together and say, yo, there's this world that could exist that's sort of even, you know, we can make that world exist. Let's try it. And then, like you said, Dion, trying to make that world exist, that's where you split. You know, you deviate from that because one guy is like, well, you know, sometimes people die. And the other one is like, nah, people don't have to die in this situation, or minimal people have to die. And that's where you get the dark and the light spawn from, like, that smaller thought. But yeah, this is like a close 2 or 3 and then it gives you a standpoint of war. And that we forget these are war movies. So yeah, it gave you a standpoint of war, emotional turmoil, you know, you got characters development. And then the end was just dope for me. So yeah, it's like between 2 and 3 for me.
All right, so we got less than a minute. We got to end it now. This was Attack of the Blerds review of Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
But wait, there's a new contender.
The story just was weak to me.
Oh yeah?
I didn't enjoy it that much in terms of story. I was hoping for more.
Gotcha.
The way I felt about Star Wars is this one was the second movie in a trilogy.
Right.
Usually during the second movie in a trilogy, you get like an information dump. You get a lot of information, and a lot of questions that you had usually get answered.
Right.
And then the third one just kind of closes all that out.
Right.
Whereas this one felt like the first movie in a trilogy, as far as new information and questions and stuff like that.
Yes.
It didn't feel like it was answering any questions. Like, it didn't answer Snoke, where he came from. None of that.
Nope.
They didn't give us anything. It didn't even really give us many more questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I thought they could have handled the passing of the torch and how they handled that better. Luke was extremely disappointing. All we wanted.
No.
Really? I like Luke. I thought it was cool.
He's the same arrogant, like, weird asshole that he's been this whole time. He was awesome.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
You thought he was awesome.
What did you not like about Luke, man?
Because he wasn't. That's not how Luke is. They made, like, to the point where even Mark Hamill was disappointed with the role that they made him play. Because that's not how Luke is.
Here's the thing. I thought that Luke was great because he was taking a hard look at the legacy of the Jedi. Okay.
Yes.
He was asking.
But think about how he was at the beginning.
Okay.
Think about how he was. How no one could sway him when it came to turning Vader to the side of light. He knew it. He felt it.
Right.
So for him to go through the same thing, but then be like, "Oh no, that's not gonna happen. No, that's not gonna happen. No, It was like a complete 180 to his character, literally a 180 to his character. And it wasn't one of those things where he grew wise. He grew bitter.
And that's the thing.
And
sometimes people do that. And if you look at the legacy, of what the Jedi's try to do, and what that line that he said, at the height of our power, we let the Republic rise and destroy us. That makes someone grow bitter. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but the whole point of his character is to, despite that, believe and stay the course.
But that's what I think.
Top of that, the biggest thing, he glowing. Luke Skywalker, as powerful as he becomes, as powerful as he is, I was expecting he should have been fighting Kylo, and at the same time just going like, you that way, you that way. You want to shoot at me? Shoot that way. He should have been doing all of that while in the fight.
Vader level of strength.
He's not Yoda. He was Yoda.
He's more powerful than Yoda.
No,
He's more powerful than Yoda.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
This wasn't.
Yes, Luke becomes, and George Lucas said this. The creator said this. Luke becomes the most powerful Jedi, period.
Okay.
Period.
But this was not a Luke film. It wasn't a film.
It was a passing of the torch.
Right.
But just like in Rogue One, it wasn't a...
So you wanted that. You wanted a Luke version of that Vader scene where you're like,
he did disconnect himself from... I wanted to see a display of his power. Even if it was quick and short, they should have, because you know what? Fans of the series have been waiting for that for how long? How many decades now? And what do we get?
Yeah, you're not going to get it. You did not get that at all.
Very true.
9 are fan books.
Did you see it? Okay. Yeah, okay. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was trying to be spoiler light. Now I'm not going to be. Cool. Good. Glad y'all saw it.
Hold on, side person. Wait a minute. Okay. Fan books, okay? So you gotta think George did right. If it would have ended at 6, then yes, so it's true. But this is still a spin-off that George finally accepted after several years of people debating. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I say.
Different and weird.
Here's what I say, right? Just like they did Rogue One, that was not part of the trilogy, right? They can easily have a Luke Skywalker film. You see what I'm saying? A film of the time after.
But nothing happened though.
You
like nothing
outside
of him raising. But they pretty much proved that nothing really happened, because he raises new Jedi, right, trains them, and then the height of what happened was what happened with Kylo that we saw.
Right.
There wasn't anything else for him to do. Right. And after he failed that, he went into, he secluded himself, he cut himself off from the Force, he wasn't trying to hear nothing.
I'm saying
he turned into a grumpy old man. He turned into a get off my property.
Wow.
Then he's over there sexually assaulting the alien life there for milk. Wow. That's
like saying that we sexually.
That was a damn alien that was just sitting there. Like I actually saw.
That's like saying that we sexually assault cows for milk. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Like, did you see that picture? That picture of like it was that alien that was like, you know what? I just want to go somewhere, be secluded on a vacation on an island, and not be assaulted and harassed. And then it shows
for my milk
guy
for my milk
milking like what the heck?
Every guy comes out of nowhere with a beard.
That's why the alien was there. I thought it was just on a vacation, minding his business, and all of a sudden this dude just walks up and just, hey.
He was like, yeah, this little old straggly fucker is gonna come and do the same shit he does every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Man.
Right. At that point, it just becomes just a mutual, I guess, just weirdness.
That's funny.
Like my TIE fighter's down there on the bottom of the ocean, like his TIE fighter's on the bottom of the ocean. So I guess this is what it is. But the little people that take care of the island look like they didn't mind. They were like, we got rocks bigger than him. So
yeah. So look, I personally thought that the role that they give them was fine. All right. He became a bitter old man because of the things that happened to him, because of what he saw happen to the Jedis at the height of their power, because of what happened to him as he got so full of himself, him being the best Jedi of all time, to try to raise these kids to be the next generation of Jedis, only to see his grandson, go for the
His
dark
nephew.
side. His nephew. Go.
But even that's the other thing about it. Luke literally, he straight up, it was for just a hot second, but Luke went to the dark side for a second.
Yeah.
Because what he saw,
And
he let fear.
Yeah.
Remember, Yoda always says it starts with fear.
Yeah.
Fear leads to hate, hate leads to anger, and anger leads to the dark side. And that was fear. That was the dark side. In a split second, while he was standing over Ben, he went to the dark side. And it wasn't even true. He let that sway him for a second. And that's not something Luke would do.
Well,
but now it is. But now he's dead. So it's just like, well, damn, he didn't really do nothing. It was just, and then the lightsaber fights. I'm sorry, but I missed the spectacle of the fights, of how they use the Force to guide their movements.
You want the prequel fights?
I wanted the prequel fights. Nothing has topped Anakin versus Ben. I mean, Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
nothing has topped that. That was a good ass fight.
Those fights needed to be grandiose. They were like the moments that.
Okay, but why couldn't they? Afterwards? Why couldn't they do that when Kylo and Rey were in that room fighting those guards?
They made those fights vicious. Cut your arm off, cut your head off. That's what they went. They went for the blood. You know,
they can still do that, but just make it more choreographed. Where they're using the Force to guide their movements and fight.
Right.
Man, they could have done that, and it would have still been cool as hell.
They went for the like brawl. Like, you know, if you are actually in the lightsaber fight, you will cut someone's arm off, cut someone's head off. Do you see what I'm saying? So they were like, go for that. They went for.
Did they actually dismember anybody? Like, I saw them cut off a head or so, but did they actually dismember arms or anything like that, or did they just?
I don't.
Snoke in half.
Yeah.
Snoke, and that was another thing. Like, what the hell? Like with Snoke, like what?
I know he was bullshit.
It was. Like, I didn't necessarily need to see him fight, but I just wanted more. I still don't know, who is this dude? Like.
Yeah, that was the question.
And I think that's the whole thing is those guys weren't important. The people that was important are the people they spent time with, which was really Rey and Finn. Rey and
the thing is,
and Kylo.
But the thing is, like, what's his backstory? Where did he come from? So the Empire gets taken down. The Emperor's gone. Where did he come out from? Like, was he just waiting? Like, what? Like, I'm over here, like, was he sealed or something? And, like, it was like a prophecy that if Emperor Palpatine dies, it sets him free.
Snoke will come out.
Like, where did he come from?
It's not Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. I'm like, is he Rita from Power Rangers? I'm finally free. Like, what?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like, where did he come from?
Theory about him being Darth Plagueis and that he was supposed to take over Anakin's body, but since it got burned and stuff, he's kind of just been dwindling over time. You know.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody who like.
They did not answer any questions in terms of where he's from and etc. It's like they have an endless supply of darks, Sith villains that they just pull one. Whenever someone dies, they pull another. Whenever one dies.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's a thing of like the only real question that they have that you're asking at this point is, well, who are her parents? And they should have just answered it. Like we didn't need to go 3 movies before we got that answer. Just tell us who it is, and then let the story go from there.
General Akbar. That's who her parent is. Okay.
They're what?
General Akbar. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, he could have been her
Akbar. Admiral Akbar.
Sorry, I gotta kind of do.
He was messing with some chick, and he was like, "It's a trap."
All right. My bad. I got child support. Man.
General, he said.
And that's how Rey came about. Okay. Is that canon? That's canon now, right? It's canon.
I mean, because look, think about it. His ass blew up, and like whenever Kylo Ben was supposed to shoot the bridge version of their ship, and then hesitated, and that ship came right behind them and blew out everybody. Which
and then the one thing I give this movie is people died left and right. Like the sense of this sucks. That was definitely there.
Yeah.
People died left and right. And then you got Leia over there flying through space. I mean, damn. That's some high level. I'd put her up against some anime characters in the fight now. She's doing all right.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to be as talented in the Force as Luke. It's just that she never trained. You know, she didn't train as much as Luke. She's
always just been force sensitive. But she displayed feats.
Yeah,
she got blown out of the airlock of a ship and woke herself up and thawed herself out and said, "You know what? Nah,
I'm going back. Yeah,
I'm about to fly."
Mad legit.
I mean, that's the one thing I
he
do
was
like
flying.
about is that they
He
really
was flying through space, looking like Michael Jordan in Space Jam, like she was about to dunk. He did.
It was quite legit.
He reverse force choked herself back into that ship.
But still, too, like, even Leia's whole plan, like, people don't understand when you stick to a systematic way of doing things. Like, she already had a contingency plan for X, Y, and Z to happen and knew who she wanted to come in place. That takes some serious power. So even if she did a whole bunch of butt kicking in you know, these last couple of films, she did way more in the background of things that I don't think people really would have appreciated if it wouldn't have happened the way it did in this movie. Like, seriously, it's always been talked about, oh, Leia's doing this, and oh, she's a diplomat, that. No, really, she's...
But Leia was
good. I enjoyed Leia in the movie.
Leia was always a gangster. Like, when she was young, she was out there with a blaster. You feel me?
Yeah.
She's older now, so it's like, I can't be blasting all these motherfuckers. I got to do some shit a little different. You know, that's just how it rolls. You know what I'm saying? So I fuck with it. I fuck with Liam, man. Get me in there and shot, bro.
Yo, but where's Lando, though? Where's Lando?
Lando Calrissian.
Where is he? I thought that's who they were going to go meet, honestly. For a minute, I was like, are they about to go to this planet and run into Lando? That would have been cool.
That'd have been dope.
What is the story for Lando? Is Lando dead? Like, you know,
I'm wondering. Like, he might be.
What is happening?
Maybe
and they killed him off screen. What the fuck is up with that, man?
Right.
They killed him off screen like he wasn't a legit like character. What the fuck is up with that, man?
That said, this does make me want to go back and watch The Force Awakens. Now that I know the backstory on what happened, I feel like I'd be able to understand like where Han Solo and Leia, when they had those moments talking about, you know, Kylo Ren. I think it would make more sense knowing, okay, so that's where that's at. But there should have been more. There should have been more in this movie, and as long as it was, especially
right. I was gonna be like, it was a two hours.
It was almost 3 hours. It was almost 3 hours, and for it to be almost 3 hours, I feel like, what did we really get? What got answered? What questions do we now have? And what do we, you know, what do you even think is gonna happen in the next one? Like, where does it go from here?
Well, first off, you would have to get George to start writing again, because I think that George...
You think so? I like George not writing.
I don't know. I want him to
We need George... No, George's wife needs to start writing. That's what that is.
Oh, that would be... Oh, my God.
George's... Look, you know why The Empire Strikes Back was so good? Because his black wife wrote that shit. That's why.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Go for George. Swirl, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Swirl.
Swirl, honey. Swirl.
The Empire Strikes Back is regarded as the best of the Star Wars original trilogy.
Yes, it is.
She helped with the directing and she shot it, especially. So yeah.
She was the cinematographer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, hey, if that's the case, yeah, maybe she needs to start writing, man. I'm down.
We need her to jump back in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I like George not being in control of everything. When George is in control of everything, it gets a little corny. We get a lot of like side swiping when we switch in between scenes, and like it's just he goes overboard. Somebody needs to bring him.
But
like,
that makes it great though.
Yo,
here's my other question.
To balance him out. You feel me?
How come we got Yoda, you know, as a glowy? Where's Obi-Wan? And more importantly, where's his dad? That's what it should have been. That would have been a lot better than Yoda. It should have been Vader. It should have been Anakin talking to him and doing all that. Because of the nature of what happened, of how Anakin turned back, he would have been more understanding and would have been able to relate better, especially going with what happened with Luke.
They went with Yoda because that's the classic. That's the classic Yoda teaching Luke. You know him being on his back. That's why they went with Yoda.
I understand them going with Yoda, but it would have been a better Yeah, I know. Now he can just strike people down one line. All right, Yoda.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. I'm dead and I can still do this. Check that.
I mean, seriously, like every time now I see lightning strike a tree or hit somebody evil.
I just think of Yoda just sitting there laughing like.
Well, you gonna look for him? You turn around like, is that Yoda?
Like, damn Yoda, why you mad? What happened?
Like,
had to go with it.
I'm just saying, he's go straight up.
But okay, but so you guys see what I'm coming from when I say Vader would have been a better, not Vader, Anakin would have been better. I think, to talk to Luke, and that would have been that would have been new. That would have been nice to see, kind of just that father-son dialogue, and them relating and lamenting on both of their decisions.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
But the father figure for Luke, I mean, like even though Obi-Wan,
it wasn't Anakin. It was Obi-Wan, and then his Yoda was the teacher. Yeah, Yoda died in The Empire Strikes Back. Yoda died in 5.
He died on screen. They didn't show it.
He died in episode 5. He died of old age.
Right.
Yeah. They didn't show it.
And he spent a lot of time with Yoda, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Yep. But I am happy that Rey has the books, though. I like that. When Yoda's like, he already has everything she needs. He literally meant, well, no, she just stole your shit.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Not too many people caught that. I was like, oh shit, she got the books. What?
Yeah. That was good.
On Jakku for forever, you just gotta take. If you find something of value, just take it.
Yep.
What it is.
That said, so like I'm looking. I want one of those ice boxes. Those are cool.
Yo, that's what I was thinking the entire time.
Yes.
I saw them and I was like, can we have those? I would have.
I want one of those.
But you can't unless you make a digital one and you can have one like in VR.
I'm gonna 3D print one out and then bring it to life. Be like, hey Yoda, strike some life into this.
But you know what? That actually would be possible because they have like those little Lego type robotic kits that you can make and program, and then you can always like what's it called? What they use in cosplay, the molding foam, stick it on top of it and spray paint it with high gloss, and you could actually make a crystal fox, which would be freaking awesome.
That would be.
Yeah,
that's a project.
Yep. Give us another 10 years on AI, and then we'll be dead. But
that's assuming that that's gonna happen. Everybody assumes that like life is gonna go the Terminator route. What if it goes the Star Trek route? Huh? What if we're like computer?
Oh yeah, it could. We'll see.
We could go. I'm just saying, it could go the other route. We could be kicking it with some Klingons. So that could happen.
Klingons! Yay, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure like people like Zay would get along. Like I think Klingons, if Klingons lived on Earth, they would take over professional wrestling.
They're like, what is this ring and this beauty? It's not hard enough.
They would definitely take over. The shit talking would be amazing. But anyways, I liked it. Despite all your complaints, Paul, I liked it. I thought it wasn't bad. I liked it, man.
Like visually, that movie was beautiful. I loved when they got to that planet and the actual ground was red, but there was sand on it. That was dope.
Yeah.
That was visually, it was dope.
Yeah.
I gotta ask a question.
What you got?
Yes, when
what's on the ground?
When the girl from Jurassic Park, when she went and put the ship into hyperdrive and destroyed, that was dope. That was a damn. You know what that reminded me of? That was a Kakashi. That was Kakashi. That was Kakashi running through with the Raikiri and just messing somebody up.
I like how they did that whole part with silent to just emphasize, and she just whoop, and it was like, oh shit. Brilliant, man, brilliant.
That was Nogi.
I wanted more of Captain Phasma. We didn't have
Me too. And going into the movie, I heard that she'd have her helmet off for most of it for her screen time. So I was like, okay, it's not.
Because I wanted to see like if you got Brianna Tarth being
exactly. I was like, look, I'm ready to see her.
I want to see her be a badass.
Yeah, she
I want to see her be a bad. I want to see her whoop some ass. Yeah, but it never did. Like, what the fuck?
And then she died in a wacky
Captain Phasma is Brianna. I was ready for Brianna Tarth. Like that's what I wanted to see because I was
And she had that spear.
Yeah.
You saw that shit? She had that spear.
Yeah, her spear is nice. Like, okay, so y'all gotta play Battlefront 2 because I love that. The game is good as hell.
Okay,
but like they've added stuff. Like when after the movie came out, you can play as Finn. Finn is great. Finn is like the best support character ever. Like I will use Finn every time I can use him in the game.
Well, how?
I want them to add the maps. I want them to add that casino place because like storming that at night and that the gold colors and everything, just like running through that with stormtroopers. And then you can ride those horse things.
Yeah.
Or fly around in those where the police were after them. That would be a cool map to play on.
Definitely. I think maybe
being inside and then going outside, that would be really cool.
Then probably that's part of the reason why they added that part in the movie and everything, because it's just you add material to the game, you add material to the universe for people.
That and then that red planet with the red ground. That would be
one.
The crystals,
Nice. Very dope. All right, so we ended up talking about Star Wars for 2 hours now. Then we did the first one Star Wars, and the second one Star Wars.
You know what? But because it was Star Wars, Star Wars deserves that.
When we first started, I told her, I was like, I don't think there's gonna be enough time to talk about Star Wars.
Very true. You did.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But it was good. So Paul, where do you put it? Where do you put this?
Like I said, it was an entertaining movie. It was a good sci-fi movie, but it wasn't a good Star Wars movie. So I give it like because I don't know whether I want to give it a 6 or a 7. I'll give it a 7, being nice.
Out of all the Star Wars movies, where do you place it? Do you place it at 5, 4, 6? Where do you place it?
Out of 8 Star Wars movies, I'm not gonna count Rogue One because
Rogue One is not part of the
main entries.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not at the top. It's maybe in the middle.
You put it what, like 5, 6?
It's in the lower middle to me.
6.
Visually, it's current day graphics, so it's it's one of the best in terms of visuals.
Right.
Yes, but story wise, nah, it's middle bottom to me.
Gotcha.
Like it'd be movie 6 in terms of how good it was out of 8.
Hold on a minute. Ash, you had a question about like 4 minutes ago. What was your question?
What was it?
I was trying. It was a good.
Yeah, it was just I was asking why would you taste the planet? Like when they're on the planet and dude was like, "What is this?" And he's like,
salt.
That's salt. And it's why would you do that?
Why would you taste it?
Because you know what? Like 1 out of every 5 people is an idiot. So
that guy did not survive the movie.
He tasted the salt and it was like, oh, actually it's salt and cyanide. But enjoy that. Bam. Never saw him again.
It's an old.
But you know what? Everybody learned from his mistake.
Right. That's the good thing. But yeah.
It's an old military thing. Like you smell it, and then if you feel like it's something, you can taste it a little bit. And, it's just something that people that are very militant minded. That's one of the things that they do.
Right, survivalists. People out there, they just look at it. It's like,
They want to sample. Like, if I die here and I got to be buried, I want to know what I'm gonna be buried in.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah, that's that too.
Just, just checking the real estate. That's okay.
Yeah, I really think that whole casino thing when they went out over there, I feel like that could have been better. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a few things when they got to jail, and the moment you see that their cellmate is Benicio del Toro, you're like, well, he's obviously going to be part of the movie. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a little bit like you just saw it coming. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, obviously he helps him out. He gets him out there. I didn't really see him selling them out, but hey.
I didn't either, but it didn't surprise me.
Right. And I would have, I think if they had cut that part in the casino down in half and they spent the other half of that whole casino thing, them, basically doing like a cat and mouse game on the Star Destroyer with Captain Phasma, that would have been dope. You see what I'm saying?
On top of that, the dude, we didn't even know, what's his backstory. We didn't get anything about him. He's just super smart. He was the thing that they needed to get where they needed to go. But there was nothing about him that we were given.
Right. It would have been cool if you changed changed it where it's like they do reach the master code breaker or whatever, and the master code breaker is like, I can't come with you, but I will communicate with you for you to be able to get in and get the work done. So that when
it would have actually been
back, go ahead.
It would have been cool if he'd have died.
Yeah.
Or if Benicio del Toro actually killed him for whatever reason.
And then they
like, I can do this though.
And they end up picking him. But then, like, the other half of them actually being on the Star Destroyer would have been like them following like instructions and being able to do this on their own. And I just would have liked Captain Phasma to be more involved in that whole situation and finding them out, pulling them out, and catching them. But it's all good.
I like the fact that Benicio was in there because, I mean, obviously he always plays like this epic, you know, I might swindle you or I might not character. But I liked his whole scene because the thing is, you got to remember, they're at a casino. You don't know if he lost that red emblem in a bet or what, because he's literally thrown in jail, okay? He, to me, was the master code breaker, just somebody took his shit in a bad bet. And,
that would have made sense, too, if the actual code breaker had lost the pin to someone else and then he assumed that was the one.
That's true. That's a good point.
He could have done a lot of things.
Think about it, too. He needed the money. I mean, and he's supposed to be so smart. He has to get off that planet. He's already in jail. He's in there for some kind of weird debt. And what would you do? Now, another thing, too, I think that, like, that whole breaking through the casino with the giant dog, deer type creatures, that might have been a little bit shorter because I do agree with you, too, about seeing the strategy on the Star Destroyer. That would have been great. But I loved his swindling. I liked the points that he made. And then even, too, like, when they were on that one escape ship, we don't know if that was his or not. He implied it was someone else's. But figured out, they sell to the good and the bad guys. So I think that part needed to all be in there, the way that it was mapped out, because it hits home.
That was good. That was good, especially going forward, you know, viewpoint wise, because, you know, Finn and them, they're gonna be at the head of things. So this kind of wisened them up. So I agree. It wisened them up to. It's not, you know, it's not black and white. There's a whole lot of gray out here.
We're the good guy, they're the bad guy. It's not like that, bro. Yeah.
And a lot of damage happens regardless whether it's kids, adults. And then also you get to really see Leia's heart too, because, you know, she never really wanted to get so many people involved. But I think that over time, like her ideal of things is how far is the risk of peace gonna go? You know,
my thing so far too that just kind of my suspension of belief is kind of shot with this, and I was hoping that it would be fixed. Is like where the First Order. I know there were the remnants of the Empire, but I feel like with the Empire dying and all that, it's kind of strange that they've been able to grow this big. It's almost like the events in the Return of the Jedi never really happened, or like Palpatine dying didn't hold much weight. That's what it feels like.
Right.
You would think that they would have been able to, you know, kind of take back and reestablish the Republic, but. It's like the First Order is, I mean, it's the Empire. The Empire just kind of was like, oh, well, that sucked.
They just rebranded. Okay. They just rebranded. They're like, okay, we lost one. Can we get another guy? Well, we got a new guy. His name is Snook. Okay, let's roll with that. Like, it was just, I agree that transitional period was really left blank in everything. I agree.
Yep.
More Poe, man.
More
Poe was cool. I enjoy it. He was
hothead. He was the perfect hothead. Just could not wait.
And Oscar's a great actor. Honestly, I've never seen a movie with him in it that it was terribly bad at all. Like,
what? You didn't like his performance in X-Men: Age of Apocalypse?
Of course, I didn't watch that movie. I think the writing was bad, but I think him as an actor was great.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. He was. I mean, yeah. You know, Poe was
bad. Look. The writing was bad, but he really embodied Apocalypse.
I didn't even watch that movie at all. I got beef.
It had its moments. You know, Quicksilver is still great.
I got beef with X-Men until they make that Storm movie. Let me just say that right now.
Well, we got it back. Marvel has it back.
Who has it back?
Marvel.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because of Fox.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, hey, Wolverine is back. The X-Men are back. The Fantastic Four are back. And so that means Dr. Doom is back. All of that is back with Marvel now. So, hey. It'll be like I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them for a while as far as the MCU goes. But knowing that they're back, I'm looking forward to when they do decide to bring back the Fantastic Four and introduce Doom, because they can really go into more like space exploration type stuff with the Fantastic Four.
Doom.
The cosmic side of the Marvel universe.
And we got another smart guy. It's not just Banner and Stark. We got Reed Richards now. So
Reed Richards and everybody in space